Viewers, welcome back to part 2 with Fadi Hussain. Today I'm going to talk about depression. Depression, so many people suffer from it. Anxiety, stress, sleep problem, they can't eat, they feel hopeless, anger problems. Some even get to suicidal. Let's talk about depression. Have you ever come across any incident where you've been feeling lonely, you've been upset, or you've lost loved ones and you've been feeling hopeless yourself?
All the time.
Okay.
All the time, almost every day.
Yeah. And how do you actually feel when it happens to you? How do you
We
feel?
feel sad, we feel shit. Everybody knows the feeling. I don't think there's a person on the planet who hasn't felt sad or depressed. You can't not. It's a normal emotion, a normal human emotion, and we should get used to feeling it. That's the reality.
And how would you actually overcome it? So a lot of people there watching, obviously Fadi's had some problems or issues, or when he's felt bad as well. So how have you actually tackled it?
Well, there's many ways. First of all, I'm very strong in my mind,
Okay.
you know, and there's so many ways. I'm not an expert on this, but I'm just saying, for me personally, you need a reason. If you ever think of, like, you know, we're going to the extreme here. The extreme depression would be suicidal thoughts. Yeah. So before it gets there, you've got to think about, well, why am I alive? Are there people depending on me? What's my purpose over here? So first thing is purpose. If you've got purpose, then you just keep working towards that purpose. And if you haven't got purpose, wake up and figure out what your purpose is. You can always find purpose somewhere. You know, I don't care who you are. If you have no job, no family, no nothing, and you wake up one day and all of a sudden you find God and you want to be a Muslim, that's a good purpose. You pray 5 times a day. Go to the mosque. Now, the other thing with prayer, it's not about waking up 5 times a day and praying, okay? Okay, you're at home, you're praying. Go to the mosque. When you're at the mosque, you're going to meet like-minded individuals. So already now you start interacting with other people. Then from there, you know, you speak to other people, you build a group, you start discussing things. If you're feeling depressed, go over there, go speak to people. No one's going to call you out at the mosque and say, no, we can't talk about this over here. Go speak about it. So that's just a start. I'm just giving you an example of somebody who's feeling depressed and has nobody in life, and you find God all of a sudden. That's the way I would go about it. And if you don't find God, there's so many other things to do. Go to the gym. You're going to meet people like-minded. Everyone's there for a goal. Pick a hobby. I don't know. Go fishing. There's so many things we can do.
So many people suffer from depression. Even I suffer from it because I lost my parents. My mum and dad died within a matter of a year. And I'm not obviously strong as Fadi, but I felt a lot of times upset, down. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, I didn't work, I was just at home all day. And then after so long, I put so much weight and it was just getting to me. So I thought, no, I need to do something about it, because no one else is going to do anything about it.
No, exactly.
You have to fight your own problems. So I know a lot of viewers there watching. We all have it hard, every single one of you. We've all been there, we've had very difficult times. Go through it, speak to someone, a professional, or do something about it. I don't know. Exercise.
I don't think there is a professional that we can speak to, though. I don't think, like, you know, going to a psychiatrist or someone like that to speak to. I don't agree with that.
Okay, and why is that? Because I know a lot of people.
Because what can somebody else tell you about your experiences? They're not going through what you're experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
So they just sat there, you know, one client's walked in, another client's walked in, just a client. You know, so there's no such thing as a psychiatrist. He's not. If you are depressed at a point where you're having those thoughts, you need God. You don't need a psychiatrist. Simple. That's my belief on it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and if you don't find God, go look for him somewhere. You're gonna eventually find it.
Yeah, because I know even we lost a few people, lost a few friends, and without saying many names, may Allah grant them the highest Jannah al-Firdaus. I mean, a lot of people, they just feel hopeless. They let go of themselves. They feel so depressed, and then they take their life. And
it's sad when it happens.
It's
absolutely,
sad.
Absolutely, yeah.
The families, the friends around them, that really affects them. And it's always sad even to see somebody going through hard times.
Yeah.
So I always say to people, do something. I don't know, if you need a holiday, go away on a holiday.
That's a big one. That's a big thing. I'd say traveling is a very big thing to go away for mental clarity. I go away a lot on my own all over the world. Most of the time, I don't even ask people, and they ring me afterwards, where are you going today? I'm like, I'm going here. Why didn't you tell me I could have booked time off work? I'm like, well, that's why. Because I don't have time to book off. I just go.
Even I like it when people be happy and start laughing, joking. And talking about joking, I'm going to go to a video you did a while back. It was called Lad Banter.
Yeah.
and that was all about having banter,
Yes.
joking about, even though some of it might be like a bit bad, taking mick out each other, but it was doing it in a different way to build their confidence. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, here's
video
the
you
thing.
did?
The reason why I made that video is because people have lost their mind right now. He's gone crazy. Anytime there's a group of guys, you're not allowed to say, oh man, or you're not allowed to take the piss out of each other or have a laugh. Well, we used to rag each other all the time, every single day on it. This was our group. The second we met up, that was all it was. Non-stop action, open season. Mums weren't off limit, dads weren't off limit, dogs weren't off limit. It didn't matter. That was, if you were part of the group, that is what it was. And I liked that. The reason being is because it toughens you up. So when somebody now, do you know how many hate comments I got on the internet nowadays?
No,
do you really want to know?
Tell me.
Well, I'll give you an example. I counted up the views, and there's over 30 million views over the platforms now. 30 million views.
Wow.
And literally, in a day, there can be anywhere between 50 to 100 hate comments on and I get people inbox me hate. You think that phases me? Do you think I care about that? I'm just like, another view, another guy's watching my stuff, he's going to share it to somebody else, I'm happy. Those are the guys, they're the reason I'm getting so many views, because they hate what I spread. And I mentioned this man up video, and I got so much hate on TikTok over man up, and I'm thinking, what is wrong with saying man up? Oh, you're not thinking about people's mental health, and I take it you were a bully at school. Listen, bullies at school were someone who picked on you every single day, beat you up, took your lunch money off you, and ripped your clothes and licked your trainers. That was a bully. Having some banter with some lads at school to the point where, you know, maybe they're not enjoying it, that's not bullying to me. I'm sorry, that's banter. And what that does is, when it was a friend circle or not, it doesn't matter. What that does is, it teaches that guy, you know what? I need to come back with a witty reply. You know how many times in a school format, and this is nowadays being recorded as well, you might have seen it, right? In a classroom, there's a guy, well, you want to call him the geek, if you want to call him the geek, let's say the geek, yeah? And there's the jock, as they call him in America, or the cool guy. He's ripping on the geek, and everybody's laughing. Now, when that geeky guy makes a comment back, how good does he feel when a whole class is laughing at the jock? Makes him feel good, doesn't it?
Yes.
And how would he have ever built that confidence up if he wasn't getting taken a piss out in the first place? So it's character building. I understand
Confidence building.
Yeah, I understand it's harsh for some people. People have gone through it and I've not felt good at school in certain aspects. I've been there for, I'm not really enjoying school. And it's not for everybody. But the fact that you're taking the piss out of somebody and you're calling it bullying, I don't know about that. Like I said, bullying for me is a very physical thing. If the bully was the guy who literally nicked your trainers and your lunch money, that was a bully. You know, luckily for me, I've got bullied and I wasn't the bully. There wasn't many bullies around. There are bullies, I'm not saying there isn't, there's definitely bullies out there, but taking the piss, having banter with lads is not bullying, I'm sorry. Far from it.
The next thing I want to talk about, another video I saw, and it was about being the father figure, being the confident person. You said a few nice things. You don't want your daughter when she grows up to come to you and tell her she's feeling down, or tell us a little bit about that video you did.
Okay, so that video is, again, it's the same thing in the sense where if you in your family are not seen as authority, or you're not seen as the pillar of the family, pillar is obviously the thing that holds everything together, and there's certain little cracks in you, like you're crying or you're being emotional in front of the family, other family members, like your mom, your sister, your daughter, people who are, especially when you reach a certain age. My mum's seen me cry, of course she has, you know, she's my mum, but your wife or your daughter should never ever see you cry. And it's not about they're going to think less of you, but it's that you become a lesser of a man. That's what I believe anyway. You are the pillar to hold the family up. So every single person in your family, I mean, I have a lot of family in Pakistan as well, I'm looked as the authoritative guy. They have something to sort out, they come to me. They have an issue between other people, they come to me, because they look to me as the authority. So I have to make sure that I act like the authority. You can't have the authority be weak.
You don't show
you can't. You know, you look. Let's say if there was a pillar somewhere and that pillar started cracking and the paint started flaking on it, are you not going to get an expert? You know what? There's something wrong with this pillar. Maybe this isn't going to be able to hold the structure up. So you've got to be polished at all times, pristine looking, no matter what is happening in front of you. And I've used this experience a lot. When, especially as the eldest child, I'm not the eldest child. I'm the youngest, but still, if, you know, luckily for me, both my parents are alive. But for example, and it's a very sad thing, and you just mentioned as well, if your parents die and you are a wreck, I've been to a funeral. It was a family member of mine, and his dad died. Right, and when his father died, it was a relative of mine. I'm not going to mention what. It was a relative of mine, and I looked at the guy who was my age, and he was a wreck. He was an emotional wreck. He wasn't able to do anything. And I kind of felt sorry for him in the sense that, okay, he's a relative of mine, but I just thought, this is not a man. You know? And it's not, he doesn't owe me anything or anything like that, but he should have been the guy that everyone in the village should have met. Sorry for your loss. He should have stood tall. Cry later, bro. Cry later. Finish your duty first. He couldn't even wash his own dad. Okay. You know, and in an Islamic culture, you can't be that. You know, I don't care what, I don't know where it says or what it says, but I believe you should be man enough and stoic enough to be able to finish your duties. As a son, the natural way of people dying is your father dies before you. That's the natural way. We can't change that. Now, if I die before my father, that's very unfortunate for my father. He's allowed to be upset and cry and be very emotional and not be in a pillar, because that's not the natural way of life. But your father is supposed to die before you, and if that ever happens, you've got to step up to the plate. It's hard to talk about, I know it is, it's not nice. I know most people think, oh, this guy's so, you know, there's no emotion in it. It's not about emotion. You have to hold it together for every single other person in the family. And not only just your family, other people come in as well. You've got to make the arrangements. If you're not there to make the arrangements, who's going to make the arrangements?
One more thing, Fadi, I'd like to say is, you know, like when I was going through things, I found friendship helps. So if you've got good people around you, positive people around you, they're the ones that always support you and help you.
As they should, at that time.
And I think a lot of time it's good to surround yourself with positive people, not negative people. And generally, in every single day, if you're around positive people, they'll make you a better person as well. Have you come across when you have always with negative people, they're always like dissing people, taking...
I stay well away from them. So it's not that I'm not around negative people. I've seen negative people, but there's a way to deal with them.
And they make you feel worse.
Well, they're not going to make me feel worse, but yeah, but you know who they are from a mile away. You know who's good, you know who's bad. It's not very hard to work that out.
Haters.
It's an instinct that we feel. And when you feel a negative energy or negative vibration from somebody, you can feel it. You know, if somebody else was sat in this room now and that guy just wasn't, it's not even, you didn't have to be looking at me wrong. I could feel that this guy is not someone I want to be around. It's very easy. It's not hard to be welcoming. As humans, we're very welcoming. So you have to make an effort to tell that person that we ain't.
Yeah, because you were saying, I think earlier on when we spoke, you get a lot of comments on your social media.
Yeah, but I love it. I don't mind it. It doesn't affect me one bit.
And what is it they don't like, or what is it they comment about?
Well, most of the time it's their insecurity. It has nothing to do with me. That's the truth. Anything that I'm putting out there on social media for people to see could be controversial, it could be clickbait, it could be sensationalistic, and most of it is. But I don't really care about that. The main thing is they have an issue with themselves, not me. I'm not the issue. I might have brought out the issue that they have with themselves, but I'm not the issue. Because somebody behind a computer screen who you don't know, who you've never met, you cannot have an issue with. So I always put it down to, well, this guy's got the issue, not me. And I have often had it, and you can see in the comments sometimes if you want to sift through enough, that people constantly hate on me, and eventually have said, you know what, I used to hate on you, but I agree with what you're saying now, and I do apologise. And many people have done a 180 in the comment section or in the inboxes, said, Fadi, I do apologise. When I first saw what you were putting out there, I hated it. And it's like, you didn't hate it, you wanted to hate it. Because you didn't like the way I looked, you didn't like the way I spoke, you didn't like the way I looked.
Do they question you at times, like, what do you know, or do you really know?
All the time, yeah, absolutely, yeah. I made a video, I did a series about the top 3 jobs a man should have, yeah? Yeah, so I'll give a little sneak peek here. So number 1 was being a waiter, and it was a Bangladeshi friend of mine when we were at school, and I think it's a great thing to do, being a waiter, because you're going to speak to people you've never seen before, there's group dynamics you don't know exist, how to speak to a group, how to walk into a group and speak to people. It's a great thing that you learn there.
Social skills.
Yeah, social skills, yeah. Second job that the video's already live is a call centre. I worked in a call centre and retail. And I think those two things going together, because political aspect at work, the managers, who's looking to the managers, who goes to do what at lunchtime, are you turning up late, who's got your back? You need to build a crew of people at your work. So it teaches you how to navigate through life by working in retail. And the third one, which I'll mention now, it's no secret, but the video's not out yet, it should be out next week, and that is working security or working the doors. And the reason why that is two, one, you have this camaraderie thing where, that's another job that I did, where it was like, we're with lads, and most of them were a lot older than me. So I got ripped on the most. And the more they ripped on me, the more my skin grew thicker. So I became like, okay, yo, I'm taking a piss at this 45-year-old guy, and they're all laughing, yes. You know, that's good. So it was a good comeback for me. Where 9 out of 10 times, I was getting ripped on more, but I was getting better and better with the comebacks. You know, it's like, yeah, I know what to say next. You know, so you get better with that. Second thing by doing that kind of job is you're not afraid to get punched in the face. Because after you get punched in the face a few times, you think, is that it? Is that all it is? Nothing else? You're not dead? Nothing's happened?
Yeah. I've noticed with you as well, because I like your humour, because you're always laughing, you're always joking.
Yeah.
And they say that's actually one of the biggest medicine, isn't it? Laughter,
Yeah,
being happy,
you
having
can't
a
take
joke.
yourself too seriously. We're all going to die very soon.
Yeah.
In 100 years from now, we're all going to be dead.
Even my friend behind the screen, Imran Khan, he's another character. He's always laughing and joking.
Yeah.
And even when we're training,
Yeah.
he makes you laugh, and
You
he's
have
always making jokes, and you feel good.
Exactly.
Because you can't be miserable.
No. And it's contagious.
Yeah.
Having laughter is contagious. You know, like I said, most of my stuff unless you watch me on YouTube, that's like the real me. You can see who I am. But sometimes when you take a snippet of a longer form video and put it on Instagram, I'll let you into something here. So when we first started making the videos, this lad come to my house at the time, and I've got these woods at the back of my house. And let's go for a walk. I said, okay, no. I do like a little jog in the morning, and it's 2 miles round. So I did a little jog, and I was walking back towards my house, and he had the camera out, and I says, yeah, I do a jog every morning, and it's 20 miles. Because I was not thinking straight. I said 20 miles, it only takes me 20 minutes. It actually was 2 miles to take me 20 minutes. I was trying to say I jogged at a very slow pace. So I got home, and he edited the video, and we watched it back, and I says, he says, you said 2 miles in 20 minutes, people are going to laugh at that. I says, all right, no worries. So he sent me the video, it was 45 seconds long, he compressed it, and he sent me it, and I says, where's the bit where I said 20 miles in 20 minutes? He said, I cut it out. And I said, no, put it back in. He was like, what? And I said, yeah, I want people to think I'm stupid.
And you're not perfect.
Yeah, so he was like, really?
Perfect,
So I put that back in. People forgot the message. The whole message in the video was, before you have breakfast, earn your breakfast. You want your testosterone to go high, go out and earn your breakfast. Do something in the morning for an hour to earn your breakfast. And my thing is, I go in my woods and I go running in the woods. It takes me 20 minutes. I come home, do press-ups, sit-ups, everything. And when I'm totally out of breath and I'm sweaty, I have a cold shower, then I have my breakfast. Otherwise, I will never eat breakfast without doing anything. I will never, ever in my life wake up, go downstairs in my pajamas and have breakfast. I would, and I hate it. If you do that, look, that's on you, bro. I would never do that. Ever.
I think you have a good routine in place as well. So every single day,
I do
wake
something.
up, you have things to do. You're not a lazy guy, you're very, very active.
But the point I'm trying to make about the video is, everyone watched that video, and the great message they should have got from that video was, yo, this is a good thing to do. Be active before breakfast. You know what they said? Oh, you must be a world record holder with 20 minutes to 20 miles. Well, this guy thinks, who does this guy think he is? And you know how many? I got like 100 comments on that. And that was the first video that like hit 100,000 views, and I was like, I knew this would work. Next video, I'm going to say something more sensationalistic than that. And I just kept playing with it. Kept rolling with it. Because I know how humans are just so stupid.
I know the feeling. I've had it before. I have a lot of trials.
Yeah.
I've had one guy make
So I just took out the bait all the time. I'm constantly on Facebook like, you want to hate me? I'll give you something to hate me about. Hate me. Keep hating me, because look, you know, I'd rather be, there's a quote in a book actually, and it says, I'd rather be slandered. What's the quote? And I remember this quote so well, and now I'm in front of a camera. I've forgotten the bloody quote. Okay. I'd rather be ridiculed or be hated and slandered than be ignored.
Okay.
Being ignored is the worst thing. Okay? If you're hating on me, at least you know who I am. If you're slandering my name, at least you know who I am. And then eventually, I'll play the hero arc, and I'll come back, and you'll start to like me. But as long as you know, now you know me. You might have known me for the guy that you hated, but eventually you'll come round to me and think, you know, this guy's not too bad, like they have done. So I don't mind deliberately sending out the hate card. I don't mind it. I don't mind hate. It's great, because they don't know me. And when you hate something, you know that you want to follow them even more. What's this guy on about, you know? And then once they follow more and more, they think, actually, do you know what? He's not that bad. And then when they watch me on the YouTube and they think, okay, this guy's alright, then eventually the art comes back to.
But your YouTube has been blowing up lately.
Yeah, it's been
so
going
well.
Well, I started it
so
I don't, not 6 weeks now. It's been 8 weeks now. But in 6 weeks, I hit 1,000 followers, subscribers. But you're the YouTube guy, bro. You've got like 6K or something like that, yeah? That's good, bro. That's
Anything else you want to talk about, just to inspire them people? Because some people are there just feel hopeless. Anything you want to say to inspire other
don't
people?
eat breakfast for an hour. Get up and do something.
Okay. Guys, thank you very much. I've loved this video because whenever Fadi is here, we just talk about different things that goes on, even though we've been talking for probably about 20 minutes flat.
Yeah.
If you like my video, please subscribe, like, comment, share. Check out Fadi Hussain's channel. What's your channel again?
That's the one, Fadi Hussain.
Okay, social media platforms.
Anyway, you just type in Fadi Hussain and hopefully I should pop up somewhere.
Guys, look after yourself, and health is
wealth, I think. Is that right?
Yeah, health is
Health as well. Cool. Is that it, yes, yeah?